Last month at my club, we were creating our Cosette projects, and the technique that I taught was how to create your own wood grain paper. And I want to share it with you now, just in case you missed it. So you can, here's samples of the cards that we made featuring that technique. You can score your paper, just randomly score. I'm not sure how well you can see that on the camera, but you can score lines just randomly, or it can be flat. So in this example, you can see, hopefully, that this card base was scored going this way. This piece of paper here was scored going up and down, so you can kind of see with the score lines, the ink will not touch the score, so it'll be like white lines on there. And this piece as well was scored. These three on the bottom were not, so you still get a wood grain, but it's almost like, I guess, a sort of plywood, you know, just a background. And then depending on your ink pad, it can also create lines. So this one also was not scored, but you can still see it almost looks like there's grains of grain in the wood. All right, so let's set this aside and let me show you how simple it is. So I am using my non-stick mat because the ink is going to get in the background here, and I want to be able to easily wipe it off. So you could use a wet wipe, or I'm just going to use a paper towel. Now on this side of the white, I have scored, and this side I have not, just so hopefully you can see a difference. So I'm going to use the mink like I did for the other projects last month. This is just a light gray and really makes a pretty presentation. So you're just going to take the ink pad and you want to lay it flat. If you angle it, you won't get quite the same look. And go ahead and go off the edge so that you can make sure you get the whole thing. So I'm just going from top to bottom. And then I will, you can see here where I lifted up too soon. You want to keep it flat. So then I turn it around and then I go from top to bottom the other way, just so you get consistent coverage. And there you have it. Simple. So you can see on this side, maybe you can, maybe you can't. There are score lines, but it's also, it really doesn't matter, is what I'm trying to say. It just depends on how deep your score line is and how heavy your ink is as to how much you will really notice or see it. But you will feel it if you have it. So let me show you another. So here is an example that I showed last month. This one is the mink color on the end here. This one is toffee. The next one is pewter. And then finally mocha. This was all done on white cardstock, so using a different color, you will get a different look. For example, I used toffee on our lagoon paper. This kind of reminds me of weathered beech wood, painted beech wood. So this was the dark side of our toffee, and I did not score this, but you can see where the pad edges left lines where I overlapped, so it looks like planks of wood. And then I sanded the edges a little bit just to kind of make it look a little more weathered. So you'll get different results with different colors of cardstock and ink, and whether you score or not. Just to give you another example, let's try a tone-on-tone version. So here's our toffee ink, and here is our toffee cardstock. I'm going to do just the same and swipe down this right side. You can see how the pad isn't completely level, so I'm going to go halfway over and then it kind of mimics the look of planks. And if I turn it around and go back this way, so you can kind of see the end result. So regardless of your pad, you can always get the wood grain look. Here's the little pig with the toffee cardstock and the toffee ink on top of our pattern paper, which is a wood grain. So you can combine different wood grain on your projects. So having shown that, I have shown you I've shown you the cards we made, but you can also use this. You could do a whole 12 by 12 piece of cardstock and cut it up and use it as desired. Use it on your scrapbooking as well. So you can see this gorgeous wood grain in the background. It's just enough character or subtlety in the background to give it a warmth and a beauty and a farmhouse feel without being busy or overpowering. So you can see here on this side as well. So that is how easy it is to make your own wood grain paper to coordinate with your projects. Hopefully our club members can make it to club this month and learn a new technique. Have a great afternoon.